give you the flavor of it. You can go listen to it yourself. Clearly, a man suffering from the beginnings of dementia. Ask any doctor, which has now been substantially increased. At this point, he's much better than he is now. You can see he actually seems to be able to walk. He then goes on to say, they said that this has all the 4 or 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties say what he is saying, meaning me, is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his good friend Rudy Giuliani. He was talking about Hunter Biden getting $3.5 million from Russia, which is now proven from Madame Baturina, who was the wife of the mayor of Moscow, both of whom are very close friends of Putin. And strangely, what did they get in return for the $3.5 million to the Biden family? Madame Baturina is the only Russian oligarch who has no sanctions. So Joe must remember, there's one I got to keep off the list. They gave the family $3.5 million. Gosh almighty, when I was a prosecutor, that was about as straight a bribe case as you could find. We'd have had him prosecuted and in jail 4 years ago when he came out. As well as Ukraine, where Mr. Zlochevsky says directly to the FBI, they wonder where's the evidence? Right in front of their eyes. Mr. Zlochevsky, the report, in which he says, I gave $5 million to Hunter, and I gave $5 million to Joe in order to get my case dropped by the Ukrainian government. Joe tells you on tape that he dropped the case. When you hear no evidence, it's really from Orwell's 1984, the Ministry of Truth. The Ministry of Truth was the ministry that made up the lies, that made the words mean the other thing. So when he says there's no evidence, he means there's a lot of evidence. Everything you see is evidence. Evidence isn't the proof that you're guilty. Evidence is a fact suggesting you're guilty. For example, when those IRS agents testified that he didn't pay taxes, that's evidence. When we find a text from Hunter Biden dated January 3rd, 2019, that says Hunter Biden to his daughter, that says, for 30 years, I've been paying the expenses of this family, and they don't respect me. But maybe when you take over, they won't require you, Pop won't require you to pay half your salary to me. That's called evidence. It's called direct evidence. It's evidence from a co-conspirator. It's damning evidence. If I had that when I was a prosecutor, he'd have been in jail 2 years ago. Probably stronger evidence than any RICO case I ever had against him. I never had evidence like this. Well, that's one thing. The other thing is, what he did to me is intolerable. He called me a Russian operative.
Searching for the best Canadian
Hang on. No, I'm not actually. Thanks, though. Not interested in the weed.